Hello, and welcome to the 2K Fantasy Premier League podcast, episode 180. Kevin, I've just been teaching Kev about John Part, the famous Canadian darts player who Kev's never heard of. For any dart fans out there,
it kind of reminds me of the HBO bowling show that's on right now. Have you watched any of that?
No.
And they're like talking about the life of these pro bowlers, and they basically have like 4 months of the season. They all have jobs. They barely win any money at all. And they're like devoted to it. And I'm sure there's more money in darts than bowling, but it's that like obscure sport nobody really watches on like ESPN 5.
Yeah, I mean, well, apparently darts is getting bigger in America. I know you're not in America, but darts is getting bigger in America, so it may spread its way up to Canada at some point.
Maybe.
But yes. So this is about fantasy football. Given I've sort of already gone off on a tangent, we are looking ahead to double game week 33.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll mostly talk about free hit today, because if you've already played your wild card like myself and you're trying to bench boost, you're just trying to make sure you can field the 15 players. We'll maybe touch on that given the high profile injury to Nico O'Reilly. So Kev, is it worth maybe just having a quick touch on how our teams are doing? So I should have flagged. We're recording this on Monday night, quite often because Man United play a lot on Monday night. So it's not the first time that Man United have been playing while Kev and I are podding. They start in 10 minutes. The good news is that we've both captain Bruno Fernandes, so we hope he does something tonight. The bad news for Kev, he's got Boomo and he's been benched, but I've convinced Kev he's going to do a Mateta and come off the bench and get him at least a goal and cheer him up.
It's all good, man.
So
you put a good team out with good fixtures on paper, and it fucking does a shit week. Like I think I said that earlier. Remember when I in the first half of the year when we were using our bench boost chips or free hit chips, can't remember which one, free hit. That's what was happening. Remember, it'd be like, oh, I got a week of tough fixtures on paper. I'm gonna get this. Like, it's a good week to use free hit and put all these good fixtures on paper, and it's like, doesn't matter. My other team would have outscored it. It's like the fixtures that, like, Ekiteke home Leeds, like, cool, or home Fulham, cool. Hey, how about this? How about Ekiteke doesn't even fucking play that week, Kev? How about Boomo home Leeds? Hey, how about Boomo gets fucking benched that week? Like, what? Weren't they just off for a month on a break?
I mean, Ekiteke was more of a Ekiteke was kind of like signpost, wasn't it? Because I think there's been enough information to say that he wasn't going to start. And you didn't start him, right? Because I think people predicted he wouldn't start.
Because he might get rotated, because these guys are all fucking pussies that can't play a couple times a week. It's ridiculous. Like every other fucking sport, they're fine playing. These guys can't put like 90 minutes together more than twice a week, or it's like this insane thing. They can't fucking jog around a third time. It's so stupid. But it's like obvious he's going to get rotated. They had 3 games in a week. There's like 6 players on the team that never get rotated, though. What are they, just like superhumans? And these other 6 guys are fucking losers that can't maintain their metabolism enough. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand it.
I think there was a lot of science that sits behind it. And I do think some of it is also there's certain players that hit the red zones. That there's management of injuries there. There's also this whole thing of, because of the way the Premier League works, and you've seen how high intensities all the teams are. Like there's the classic. You almost at the point where there's no easy games in the Premier League. They're also well organised. You kind of need your players at the top of their fitness. If they're sort of 10% off, it can make a difference.
I know, but then some players are subbed, and some play 90 minutes every game, even if they got 3 or 4 games a week. So I just don't get it.
And I guess maybe those that stay on, the ones that have got don't can always do that 100% pretty much week in, week out, unless injury prone. Who knows? There's probably lots of stuff that we don't know sits behind. I mean,
Sarr got rotated for you. That's ridiculous too. I know that they're like.
I kind of thought it might happen, but there wasn't. And maybe that's a good segue into my. Have you got the? I don't know if you've got the site up. Yeah. So I guess we talked about it last week, and it's an interesting one, because I think had I not pressed the wild card, I've got a feeling I may have done what you did. But actually, that might have only worked had I done what what was just considering, which was João Pedro to Bowen, which I think I would have done. I may have bought Van Dijk in, I don't know, and I definitely would have almost certainly bought Raya in for Alisson. So if I'd done all those three, then I'd probably be about maybe slightly better off to where I am now. But then I would have used all my transfers, and it would have been quite a big call to do that.
But there's like a couple players that have swung this dramatically. Like if you had done that and went Bowen, great. Or like for me, I've got Thiago. I don't know if you had him or not.
No, I would have had.
So you would have had Thiago. So
I've had Bowen.
You've got O'Reilly got 14 points, basically like just hammered it in that doing this fucking bench boost wildcard thing is like ahead or whatever because of like one monster game. And Verbruggen, I guess, offsets Van Dijk or whatever. It's pretty our points are within 3 of each other today, or 4 rather. I was hoping Bumo is going to put me ahead, but he's most likely going to get me a 1-pointer.
Yeah, and I think for me, I would have had to have done, if I'd done the Bowen move and the Raya move, which I think I would have done, would have sat there and gone, you know what, I don't need that extra transfer to bring O'Reilly in. Yeah. No, sorry, Van Dijk in. I may have gone down that route. Had I gone down the route, I'd have been better off. But then I would have had less transfers afterwards. Yeah. I mean, had I gone for the other route, which was wildcard for the wildcard to free hit this week and play 34, and then somehow double it, play the bench boost in 36, I probably have been. I don't think I'd have been much better off because
you would have had more Arsenal in, and Arsenal had a shitty week. So
I'd had more Arsenal. I would have had Bowen, but I wouldn't have had Thiago. So I think from a wildcard perspective, either route probably got me a similar score, if that makes sense.
I think right now you're ahead, but when you look at my team, you're ahead by you're probably going to be ahead by 3 points when it's all said and done. I didn't like you're in a unique scenario where you got like 1 million free transfers. I didn't like the wild card bench boost right away as a team with 0 free transfers, because even though Arsenal looked like fucking shit this week, they had a good fixture and should have done well there, relatively speaking. But it's more about like after it's more about like 35, 36, 37, 38 that I felt like I would have been fucking screwed. It's like 35, 36, 37, 38 is more where I'm going to judge my I feel like by wild carding later, not now, that's where I'm going to be further ahead. I thought I would be further ahead this week just based on paper, but it turns out they've been pretty even anyway, because as much as the double Brighton clean sheet thing was annoying or whatever, and Nico O'Reilly's 14 points were annoying or whatever, Van Dijk got 9. Thiago got whatever the fuck he got, something in the teens. And Haaland and Semenyo did fuck all. So as much as O'Reilly got 14 points, it's not like if I said Haaland, Semenyo, and O'Reilly got 18 points behind them, that's an average of between them. That's an average of 6. I'd be like, that's not too bad. I know it's Chelsea, but Chelsea are kind of shitty. So it's like, Nico O'Reilly killed me by himself. Fine. He's also now an injury issue that, people that own have to deal with. Yeah. I don't have Haaland or Semenyo or O'Reilly. So to get away with 18 points between the 3 of them, it sucks, but it's not, it could have been fucking way worse. Like those could have been Semenyo assists, not Cherky assists. Right. So I think I kind of got away with it a little, but then I also got unfairly punished on like Rice and Harry Wilson and fucking Bumo not starting, Ekitike not starting, Arsenal all of a sudden looking like fucking dog shit all at the same time. You know what? At the end of the day, them being really close to each other in points, obviously, if you have like Weefer, like I saw some people have, cool, good for you. I don't really, I don't think on average, I think they're close.
I think I think Gross was more popular, and I think that's the main. I mean, the main thing with my team that I was pondering.
So you're down 5 points on Sarr versus Gross.
Yeah, I didn't love the Sarr pick,
but I love the Sarr pick for later though. You're gonna be ahead of these fucking guys now. Yeah, and like West Ham at home, dude. They fucking not West Ham at home next week. This week they like Mateta got the 2 goals, but it could have easily been Sarr. I mean, he's been on fire.
I mean, the positive for me is Sarr came off the bench and they went from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Now I know that's not. I know Sarr wasn't involved in any of the goals. When I saw the score, I was like, oh, I hope Sarr got something. I was like, he didn't. It is what it is.
I think it's a perfect scenario for me because I fucking want Sarr, and I think this will put some people off. Like, I took a quick look on Twitter, and everyone's shitting on Palace. Like, oh, see, this is the problem with them. I don't even think we need to worry about 36 with them. This, that, and the other. Like, make no mistake, I'm gonna have 3 fucking Palace on my wild card. I would say it's gonna be Henderson, Sarr, and Munoz from what I saw yesterday. I mean, do I expect some rotation? Yeah, but if I get 120 minutes out of Munoz and 120 minutes out of Sarr, that's pretty fucking good, man. They're pretty fucking attacking. As much as they're beached and focused on Europe, they still fucking looked pretty fucking good, dude. Like, Munoz was, I don't even know what his XG was, but he was in there. Like, he could have got 2 goals, but Teto looks hungry. Like, I actually am on the other side. I feel like I'm happy that Palace looked so damn interested and good, even though there was rotation. And now that some rotations happened, I think that could help Sarr. You know, I'm probably more worried about Munoz as a pick than Sarr for the.
I mean, the thing is, Richards played again, so if you want to play safe, you can go Henderson and Richards, get almost 180 minutes close to guaranteed.
A lot of people will not be able to get Palace now or Arsenal. So hopefully Arsenal pick it up. Hopefully Palace, put up a big double, and I can make some of this shitty week this week, and I know I'm going to have a shitty week next week because I'm not bench boosting, and a lot of people will. But maybe that's a transition if you want to talk a bit more about your team to my team. And I haven't clicked free hit yet. I was actually thinking we could do it together on this pod, and I just put it in and forget about it because
that sounds good to me.
I was like, there's no price changes happening. Why even hit it? But now I feel like I want to hit it so I don't forget.
They've kind of stopped. I mean, also, I don't think you're going to be tight on prices anyway. But the last thing I'll say on my team is, so my bench for this week is going to be Sarr, Bruno Fernandes, and Big Gabs. You could argue maybe you put a defender in over Bruno Fernandes, but I can't be bothered arguing with myself about it.
So that's really interesting, and that's probably a good transition for my team because I don't think I'm going to put Bruno Fernandes in my free hit the more I think about it. And then that makes me think, well, then bench boosters should probably, however you want to, whatever your actual bench is on this bench boost, if I'm not putting him in my free hit team, then he should probably be on your bench because
he should be subject to
free hitters aren't including him in their team. And my free hit team is probably going to be players you own. So that's probably the more true indicator of what your bench should be. The players that I don't pick from your team.
Yeah.
Which is obviously going to be Big Gabs and single game weekers.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm not expecting a massive bench boost. I'm going to have Verbruggen on the bench as my double goalkeeper.
He could go big.
I got Sarr, Bruno Fernandes, Big Gabs. I think that I think the
one double game weeker.
My biggest issue with it is I'm happy. The thing is, obviously, I've hedged my bets with having Big Gabs and Sarr, which means I can flip the team to having more Arsenal and Palace. I think O'Reilly's a big issue. I mean, O'Reilly injury is quite a big hit because actually,
it is
because we're going to have to sell him. If he's not playing, I'm going to have to sell him for probably He's obviously the obvious move. The thing with that is, I then can't get O'Reilly later on. My account, it's another transfer down, and it also means rather than coming into game week 35 with 4 transfers, I'm only going to have 3 now if I have to sell O'Reilly.
You have extra transfers on everyone. Would you consider using 2 here to get Donnarumma? So that during game week 36, you've got a double game week keeper already? I guess that doesn't make sense for you because you're not going to hit bench boost that week. So why would you bother? You'll just switch a keeper to Henderson.
Yeah, so I don't think it makes no. I don't, but this is. I've thought about it and thought, could I be clever with O'Reilly, and then do I do like you could do like O'Reilly to, don't know, a Leeds defender or something, and then Sarr to like Cherky. I'm like, I don't need to mess about with that. I just don't need that.
That's too much fucking diddling around. There's going to be more injuries like O'Reilly. There's going to be beached players. There's going to be like punts you're going to want to make. Like, I mean, your 4 transfers could easily just dwindle down to 2 or 1. Exactly. So why?
Exactly. So I'm going to use 1 transfer now. I then free hit in 34, which means I won't use any transfers. and then I'll walk into game week 35 with 3 transfers in hand, and having a fairly decent team. I don't even need to transfer in straight away. Get another transfer the week after. I could then end up with 3 Arsenal and 3 Palace if I wanted it. And I might not even be the right answer.
I really wish I brought Bowen in for Ekateke or JP rather than doing that Raya move.
I mean, but remember last week though when we talked about remember when we built up a team for the wild card which took us through to the bench boost in 36, and I wanted Bowen and a West Ham defender, and you're like, no, we're not having that. So I mean, you were never fancying him against Wolves, so it is what it is. Right? You've got to have a view.
You're right. I can only go off of what I see, which is Wolves have not been an easy fixture for like 3 months now, and then all of a sudden they just fucking smash them. Remember the reverse fixture? I remember I was going to my son's hockey tournament, and Wolves were fucking spanking West Ham. It was like Wolves' biggest win of the year. They fucking destroyed West Ham in the reverse fixture. So like it is kind of weird that West Ham just put the smackdown on them out of nowhere with like
I think there's I agree with that. There was an element to that. I mean, I think people still see what's interesting now is if I look at and this is the other benefit of free hitting now. I look at my team and I go, maybe I shouldn't have gone for Sarr. I'm there now, so I'll stick with it. I can see the logic. It wasn't completely crazy. I was always uncertain about the Welbeck versus Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin seems a much better pick now. Assume he stays fit, just because he's got Wolves at home. Which suddenly looks like a much better fixture. And obviously, the other thing is, and this could happen in your wildcard in 35 into 36. I've now got an injury. Maybe I'll get another. Maybe the other ones come out of the woodwork.
Right.
But suddenly, that's the other thing is you can sit and plan all the transfers you want. But when you've got 15 players that you've wildcarded in to bench boost the next week, there is a chance that 1 or 2 of them get injured. It's just 100%. It's just part of the game.
Everything that can go wrong will, as far as I'm concerned right now. But like, just to put this into perspective, Wolves beat West Ham 3-0. And it was like, West Ham are surely like just atrocious. And then it's like, oh, West Ham are playing Wolves. Of course West Ham are going to pound them. And then they do. And it's like, what? This reminds me of when Morgan Rogers, no, not Morgan. Who played fucking Villa? JP played Villa, and everyone was like, of course JP was going to get fucking 5 attacking returns versus Villa. And I'm like, I thought Villa were like second in the league. But it's like, what do you mean, Kevin? Fucking Villa are just the worst team you've ever seen, and JP's a monster. And then like next 3 games I've started him, he hasn't even done anything. And it's like, this is why I benched him versus Villa. Why did I get so unfairly fucking punished to the max?
I think at that point Villa looked a bit ropey, but yeah, I mean
they're not getting fucking destroyed every week like that one. It's like I guess what I'm venting about is just I think I'm using my common sense to try to make these decisions. And then it's like, oh, Kev, you fucking idiot. You didn't play JP versus Villa? 5 attacking returns in your face. First bench. Oh, fuck. You didn't get Bowen in versus Wolves? Wolves who have like shut down everyone for 3 months? Fuck you. Boom, 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 boom. And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. How aggressively out of context are these? The whole world's picking up on this shit but me, apparently, in this 1 week.
There's definitely a forward thing here, though, right? Because I'm sat here with JP 2, Welbeck 2, Haaland 2. And this is the problem with the forwards. They are so unreliable.
3. This is why we went big at the back, like defensive contribution. Remember in like game week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, when we were like, get the fucking third forward out of our team.
But at the moment, though,
point blanks.
I mean, I didn't like signing Elliot Anderson, and I know he's not been that popular pick. I mean, I was lucky Palmer got 4. I mean, that was actually a win when Palmer got 4 points because he got 2 defensive contributions. I was like, okay, that's a bonus because he was kind of my Elliot Anderson guy exactly for the week. And in fact, Sarr got 3 defensive contributions in his like 20-minute appearance, whatever. I'm like, well, that bodes well for him maybe getting one at some point in another game. But
I tinker around with like free hit in 33 or free hit in 34, and I'm like, who are the sexy players in the game? Because like Brian, I sort by like price sometimes, just to be like, okay, Holland, super expensive. Then it's like Mo, I'm like, You know, we know all about that. Saka, Palmer, Then it's like, you know, obviously Bruno is actually elite this year, and then it's like, Boomo, I have him. He's the fucking shittiest player on my team. Then you go down and it's like, these expensive players all fucking suck, man. This is like the worst year for getting excited about like a player. Like, name a player in FPL. Tell me your excitement level. Like, why is Elliot Anderson so high? Why am I more excited about Elliot Anderson than Bumo? And
I'm disappointed he might not get back in my team again this season because I might not have room for him, which is the sad thing.
Yeah. So my team, I had.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Mac Tia. Remember how he was getting 11s on my bench? I started him, so he got 2.
I mean, you were lucky he got 2 because he was on a 0, wasn't he? And then he got the last defensive contribution, last kick of the game, from what I can tell.
I turned the game off at halftime, and they were up 1-0. Like, maybe I'll get a clean sheet. Nope. Van Dijk got me 9. I mean, I didn't watch any of that. I had
Leeds have already scored, by the way.
Who?
Leeds have scored. But it was a guy called. I assume no one's going to have Okafor. I don't know who assisted it. Doesn't say on the BBC website. But
probably like one of the wingers is. Anyway, whatever. I don't care. DCL can get you guys 3 goals. I don't give a fuck anymore. So, Van Dijk, nice surprise, I guess. If I want to
Bogle assist.
Who?
That's Bogle. That's the 3.9 defender that people have been looking at. But I assume no one would have started him this week.
So 4.4 Stroik is what I saw. Anyway, Van Dijk was a nice bonus. I'm sitting here whining and bitching. Like, he's been a bit of a troll for me this year, as has Ekateke. So for him to get me 9 points where I've missed all those goals and he just got me 0s and 2s, that was a nice little.
It's what we talked about last week, though, when we went through it. Is Van Dijk is definitely a player you want in 32 and 34 because although he's been a bit up and down, he's very near the top of the list on all the defensive contributions on points.
Yeah,
and that's why.
I also thought, Rice getting me 4 points. I thought, as bad as Arsenal looked, he looked good. He was like trying his hardest to fucking get something going in the end.
I mean, I am.
He was.
We talked about this before. I'm going to the Sporting game on Wednesday, but I think we will get through into the next. We should get through that. We're winning that. We should get through. But I am very worried about the league. I do wonder if
this game this week is what it's all about.
Away at Man City, I mean, I'd love to win that game. Absolutely love it. But
if you lose that game, I don't see Man City conceding a goal the rest of the season. Like, I might just go. I might, on my wild card in 35 and my free hit this week, just go triple D. I actually thought about going double D instead of Holland.
There was definitely something. Yeah, we've got. I think you're right. If we lose on Sunday, you've got to think Man City are going to win the league.
I think they're going to win by not conceding again. I think I commented on the chat or whatever. I'm like, this is about when in the season they just never let a fucking goal in again and have like 9 straight clean sheets. Like, that's what they do well at this point. They shut the teams down. Like, Rodri's probably a really good pick. I didn't see what he got this week, but he's been getting like 9s and 7s. Like, remember at the beginning of the year where like Rodri might be like the best player because of CBIT? That's like been happening quietly for the last 4 or 5 weeks now, where he's just like putting up 4s and 7s and 9s and shit.
So yeah, I mean, I think I've said before that I didn't believe we bottled the league in previous years, but I 100% agree. If we don't win the league this year, we've definitely bottled it, because
if you don't win the league this year, Arteta won't last 2 weeks. There's no fucking way you guys keep them. They can't. That your fans would
I think it'll be untenable very quickly. Yeah, because
they burn the stadium down.
I think that there's reasons why we didn't win in previous seasons, often to do with how good Man City have been and the quality of our squad and the strikers, etc. None of those things are true this season. Man City have not been as good.
No.
They're playing well now, but they haven't been as good. We had more than enough opportunities to wrap the league up.
You had an earlier point in the year, like 2 months ago, where I'm like, if you lose from now, I think he's bottled it. Then it kind of got caught up again, and then you pulled ahead again. It's like, okay, now there's 0 excuses. And then it's almost like, losing the league games, especially the Southampton one. It's like, oh, dude, you guys are fucking going to have pressure on you now.
But I mean, I kind of put the
Like Bournemouth by
But
itself is an okay loss to have during the season because they're actually pretty good. But it's because it's
they were
right
11
after the
games
Southampton
unbeaten.
loss.
Yeah, I'd look at it and go, well, the league, the cup games you lost in. I was like, well, we're not playing the full strength side. We kind of were in the League Cup final, but not the goalkeeper. We definitely didn't play the full strength side against Southampton. You just go, you've got to sort of box them up and put them away. We then beat Sporting. I didn't think we were great against Sporting, but we got the result. And you think, well, actually, that's what you need, right? You need the result, and then we have the Bournemouth. The thing I was worried about the Bournemouth is Bournemouth are a good side. You say 11 games unbeaten, now 12 games unbeaten. They drew a lot of games, they haven't won that many.
Yeah.
But it's the way we played is the worrying bit, really worrying. We've kind of lost all momentum for setting up goals. And, remember, we've never clicked at any point this season, and now it's coming back to bite us because the defence has dropped off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we really miss Timber. It sounds mad. I think Timber makes such a difference. We desperately need the guy back for Sunday.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And Saka.
Saka.
Let's go through free hit.
Can we just do one thing before that?
Yeah, sure.
Captain for this week.
The free hit week?
This week, game week 33, yeah. Who's captain?
I don't know. Can we go through like me building my team together and then
yeah.
Because
I presume everyone's defaulting to Haaland, but I'm not sure what the right answer is, kind of my point.
Okay, I just hit free hit and I'm deleting everybody.
Okay, right.
You want to start with keepers? I'm pretty sure it's like... So I only need one keeper here. Obviously, you guys have already got your bench boost teams together. Like, I think that... Do I for second keeper to start just Dubravka, and then if I have fucking like 8 million in the bank, I just make him either for Verbruggen or Petrovic? Because it's going to be one of those two, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's only if you don't have 3 of those players already in your team. So I think you start with Dubravka. So which goalkeeper are you going to go? So if you go through the teams, you're not going to choose Sanchez because you're not stupid. Because you might not even keep. You can't choose Sanchez. For my mind, you can't choose Sanchez or Darlow because there's always a chance they don't keep their spot. There was always a risk they don't play. So those two are out the.
Well, I think Senesi and Hill are better defenders than the Van Heck guy. They're better for attacking return threat in general, and they're all really good at CBIT. Those 3, I would say Senesi and Hill CBIT per game. Like Senesi's like the very top of the league, and then since Hill's come in, he's even better than Senesi. So I feel like I would rather have 2 units of Bournemouth's defense and only 1 unit of Brighton's. And then obviously the plan was to have O'Reilly, but let's just say I'll go Gahey for now. The only other wild card could be I don't go Gahey, I go Donnarumma, and I go, you know what? Van Heck is a better CBIT player than Gahey. So I go Donnarumma, Gahey, Senesi, Hill. Instead of Senesi, Hill, Gahey, Bart, or Senesi, Van Heck, Gahey, Petrovic.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say about Gahey is he has a habit of popping up with a goal here or there. But you're right; he's not as good as
Where is he on?
I mean, I think you talked about this earlier in the season. I know he got quite a lot of goals for Palace and assists, but I think you've been chatting to a Palace fan. He said it was all a bit lucky. I know
he said it was totally. It's like he said it's like he used all of his. It was more the assists. It's like he was like these assists don't make any sense. He basically passed it up and the guy dribbled and happened to score. Like those were Gahey's assists.
I think a lot of them from corners when he's got something on it.
He's got 3 goals. He just got his 3rd goal. It's not like he's got like 5 or 6. Where's Van Heck? He's got 3 goals as well.
And
2 assists.
I don't mind that I think there's an argument, Kev, to have 4 defenders in this team. I think a 4-4-2 is out of the question.
Well, why don't we just pick the best 4D then, and then I'll decide that later because
your best 4D for me are Hill, Senesi, Van Heck, and Gahey. Or do you mean 4D including goalkeeper?
No.
And then I think if you're doing that, your goalkeeper's Verbruggen. Because
there's no way in hell I want double Brighton D. Like as bad as Spurs have been, they've got a new manager and they've got a decent attack, and that's where they're away. And I think Chelsea could easily score on them. Like, honestly, like I do. Like Chelsea are pretty fucking decent. Like I don't actually think like Brighton D was all about this week in Burnley to me. Like it was more about the wild carders.
Based on this conversation, I think you want Donnarumma in goal.
Yeah, I do.
And I think you want Senesi, Hill, and Van Heck. So just go with that. I think that's reasonable.
I can always come back to this.
And then midfield.
Wait, who do I just put for my other
defenders?
Yeah,
I think.
Why don't I fill them in after?
Fill them in afterwards because I think you'll be filling them based on the teams. I mean, you'll put a Leeds player in there if you've not used your.
Donnarumma is 100% nailed, right? I mean, they need to win the league, so Arsenal is playing.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that. And in some ways, that's the sort of game. I mean, it's the sort of game they might get a clean sheet anyway. It could easily be a 0-0. I'd probably take a 0-0 now if I'm honest.
Okay, let me ask you this on your 4 defender thing. Okay. Would you play Guéhi over Haaland? Guéhi's a second D. Like, I look at Arsenal home. I don't expect Haaland to have a big game there. But I could see that I could being a shutdown. Right. But I think I think Burnley away is almost a guaranteed clean sheet. So his first goal is just going to offset that. He'd have to get 2 goals. And then even then, you know, Guéhi could get 9 pointer on bonus.
Is they're out of Europe, so he's less faffing with
rotation. But then also Arsenal, I think it's way higher that chance of a clean sheet than a Haaland goal. I don't think way higher, but it's probably closer than you think. And I think Guéhi could get C-bit.
So, but that would only be with Guéhi and Donnarumma because I wouldn't trust all the other defenders to start. I mean, there was an argument here that Aït-Nouri's a bit of an outsider here because if O'Reilly's out, then he's interested.
But what if O'Reilly comes back in the second game? Like I can't. That on a double.
If he was definitely ruled out for the games, I think Aït-Nouri's interesting because he's quite attacking. The other one is
perhaps,
and they've obviously got Nunes. But I mean. I'm just thinking outside the box of that. You could go with something slightly different. But I think the purpose of this, I think you're going Donnarumma, Senesi, Hill, Van Heck. Yeah, midfield. Then, how many of those are easy for you? Tavernier, is that nailed for you, or are you less?
So I'm gonna go Tavernier. I think Palmer is also easy. Obviously, like there's only so many fucking premiums in the game. You guys all have them.
I mean, it's Tavernier. We think Tavernier's on penalties, right?
Yeah. I'm going to go Enzo, like Chelsea Enzo. I'm going to go triple Chelsea. I'm going to go Palmer Enzo. And because I think that's somewhere where I could have a little bit of a differential from the wildcarders because nobody else would have had him. And I do think he's important. I think he's going to play 90. They seem to be all kumbaya fucking made up. I think he's going to come out and like be good. Maybe he won't. I don't know. Who the fuck else am I going to pick? I'm obviously picking some menu as well. And then after that, people are picking like Pascal Gross and shit. Like I'd rather have Enzo.
What about Semenyo and Cherki and Donnarumma over?
Because Palmer? I'd rather have the extra Chelsea. I'd rather have the extra Man City D and Enzo than like Cherki and. Plus, Man City have Arsenal. I don't expect that to be a high-scoring game. And Burnley away, like Burnley are going to have fucking 15 at the back.
But I could see Burnley getting. Man City has steamrolled us. They've steamrolled Liverpool. They've steamrolled Chelsea.
Yeah,
they could definitely steamroll Burnley.
It's just the other game's Arsenal. Burnley.
Yeah, and obviously it's the Arsenal with hopefully the decent defense, not the slightly shaky one in the Carabao Cup final. I mean, to be fair, we were the better team in the first half. The second half, once they scored, it was over. But I'm
going to go to forwards and add João Pedro just to put him in.
Yeah, because he's
add Haaland. So right now I've got I'm down one player on a 3-4 on a 3-4-2. I need one more player. And
I mean, the thing is, I don't like Welbeck or Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
No,
and I think that's an advantage because I don't think Welbeck's a great pick. And I think you said it before. If Bowen had been Dublin, we'd have all had Bowen, not Welbeck.
100%.
And I think that I don't trust the minutes of Welbeck or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think they're both getting injured in any game or any training session at any point. I prefer the 5 midfields or the 4th defender personally.
Yeah, there's no other forward I really like here. If anything, I would like get rid of Holland and put in Gahey and go with like a 5-4-1 or a 3-4-5-1. Honestly,
I mean, have you got any interest in Leeds defenders?
I mean, I like the fixtures.
I mean, the Wolves fixtures does make Dominic Calvert. For me, I'd have Dominic Calvert-Lewin over Welbeck, subject obviously what happens with his minutes tonight. But if he looks fit enough for me, I'd have Dominic Calvert-Lewin over Welbeck. So if you do go Holland and João Pedro, I think you have DCL. Even if you don't start him, even if he's first bench.
Who gets CBIT for Leeds? Struijk doesn't. He's got it once in his last 8 games or something like that. He's on 2 tonight so far. Like almost the first half's almost done.
Yeah, but if you go back to Struijk before that, if you go back to like game week 25, he had 15, 16, 15, 5, 13, 11, 11, 5, 11, 20. His history, he's got some monster.
He's definitely got it like a third of his games, I'd say. And once in the last.
I went Struijk because I thought he also has a habit of popping off with a goal from my experience.
He's got 0 goals, 1 assist in 28 games. He's got CBIT like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 of the 28 games. So a little less than half.
But he's also missed a handful of games. So
how did he do versus Bournemouth and Wolves? 3-pointer, got 12 CBIT. And then 14 CBIT 4-pointer. So, yeah, I mean, I'd rather have a sexy midfielder. I don't know.
So just to check, your midfielders: Palmer, Enzo, Semenya, and Tavernier. Can we just check on Tavernier? Do you still think he's the best Bournemouth pick? Because I mean, a lot of people got excited about Adam or Adams after Saturday.
I don't know, man. I guess in the last this week he had a really shitty extra.
Scott, not Adams. I mean Scott. Sorry, everyone seems excited about Scott.
It's crazy because Tavernier's CBIT's like 9, 9, 11, 8 in the last 4 games. Like I know he hasn't actually got it yet, but like that's decently high for a midfielder. I'm not expecting that from him. I don't know. He was definitely like looking good for a little bit there. I guess he's not like super exciting. There aren't many super exciting players here. I guess Bruno Fernandes might make my team then because there's no like obvious.
Any interest in Gross? Because I'd actually not clocked Gross properly until I looked through it. I didn't read him and I looked through his stats. I was like, okay, I didn't realize he'd come back to Brighton and he'd been ticking over.
I had him in draft for a bit and I dropped him because he didn't do anything for a while. I know he just got an assist this week, but like,
I mean, I think Whitford's probably a red herring because I think that's just a fluke that he got that. I mean, could be proved wrong. I think of all the Brighton midfielders, I do think Gross is the one that stands out.
I like that Hinselwood guy the most.
I'm just not convinced he's going to play. I'm just not convinced he's going to play. I'm not convinced he's going to play 90 minutes every week. That's my issue with him.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it feels like you're scraping the barrel there, aren't you? I mean,
Gross's XGI is fucking disgustingly low. Like, I don't get the attraction to this guy. I know he got an assist, good for the wildcarders, but like, I would rather have Bruno Fernandes in one game than him. Like, I'm at the point now where my next pick is Bruno Fernandes in a single game. Or a double game week or Struijk Gross. I'd probably have Calvert-Lewin or Welbeck over Gross.
I think, Kev, as we're talking this out loud, obviously subject to what happens tonight, I think I'd go Calvert-Lewin in the team you described, just because he's got Wolves at home, and Wolves just got spanked by West Ham, and Calvert-Lewin's also on penalties. That's why I'd probably go Calvert-Lewin.
Or I could just go for Bruggen and Net and Cherky. Anyway, Sinisi and Hill, I think, are locked.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Palmer, João Pedro, and Semenya are locked. I think Van Heck or Bart are locked.
I mean, I think I agree with you. I think I prefer Van Heck to Verbruggen. If you had to choose one, I'd go Van Heck over Verbruggen.
Me too, because his CBIT's like actually pretty high. It's like pretty consistent. Where Bart, I know he didn't get CBIT this week, but he's up there in the league. Where Bart, I know he got a 9-pointer, but like, fuck, why did they make his save so hard to find? I mean, he's getting at most one save point. I think he's more than one save point twice all season. Yeah, he's getting 0 or 1 save points. And you're basically saying, the clean sheet is a wash versus Van Heck. So there's way higher chance Van Heck's getting CBIT than Bart's getting save points.
Yeah, I mean,
that's sort of right there, right? What about Donnarumma versus Gahey versus Cherky? I guess that's a really big. Like, how often is Gahey getting CBIT? He hasn't got it for like 8 weeks, dude. Basically, he scored a header, or I wouldn't even be considering him. He's getting 2-1-6-7-2-7-3-3-6.
It's an interesting conversation because I'm saying going, I'm going to have to go O'Reilly to Gahey, but I think that's more because I'm just not picking it just for this week. I'm picking it for the next because if O'Reilly's out, I'm going to have to sell him, of course. Yeah. I can't go Aït-Nouri because if O'Reilly's back, he's going to be screwed. Nunes is interesting. I mean, maybe I go Nunes, go something a bit different. Don't know, because Nunes is playing every week, isn't he? What about Nunes?
I just clicked on Nunes, bro. He's like 2, 6, 4, 2, 2, 1. Nowhere near CBIT. You got to understand, man. Yeah, cool. They play for Man City. Their defender in the 2026 FPL season, do they get CBIT? It's very important. It's like a huge source of points. But he doesn't ever get them.
But remember, Aït-Nouri, first game of the season, he got 9 points. I was like, we should have bought him. Maybe I bought him in. Yeah. And actually, I don't think I did. And then he got injured, and then he's never been anywhere near that 15 defensive.
We haven't seriously considered a Man City defender all year. It took O'Reilly playing where Odegaard plays for us to consider him and start scoring every second game, and then he became must-own. O'Reilly was not in people's team because he was a fucking CBIT good point-gathering defender. He was there because he was an out-of-position attacker that was getting himself into really good, dangerous spots. That's it. I don't think honestly, he's a good FPL pick.
If I look at Nunes, he has got 1 goal and 7 assists this season. And he's got CBIT a few times. I actually think he's a better pick than Gahey if you're happy he's going to play. I mean, what about Kushinov?
But is Aït-Nouri not going to be the one pushing forward now, and Nunes will stay back? And also, when you look at those assists from Nunes, that none of them have come for a while, basically since O'Reilly became the one that went forward.
Yeah, but if O'Reilly's out, that make Nunes a better pick, though.
I just said Aït-Nouri is going to come in and be the one that goes forward, though. Like, I feel like. Look, earlier in the year, O'Reilly was playing with Nunes, and Nunes was the one going forward, and O'Reilly stayed back. Then, like, however many weeks ago, he, like, moved O'Reilly to a point where he's, like, this midfield pivot, like how John Stones was that year, but he's been really good at it. None of those 7 assists have come since that's happened. Like, I think it's pushed Nunes back, right? I think when Aït-Nouri comes on, that's not going to unlock Nunes. Nunes is probably going to stay pinned back. And Aït-Nouri is going to be the guy running. I just think I think those 7 assists from Nunes were like an earlier in the season thing. That's all.
Yeah. But I just think he's got.
I'd rather have Donnarumma and a CBIT Brighton D.
Yeah, I think for this conversation, I wouldn't go for 2 Man City defenders. I think I preferred Cherky and Semenyo over. I prefer Cherky over Haaland.
Cherky has been very fucking attacked. He's definitely playing in the Arsenal game. I just don't know if he'll play in the Burnley game because he does get rested. Look at his minutes here: 75, 30, 81, 87, 32, 19, 29. I don't like that. 68, 72, 45, 17. Like, that's way too common.
Yeah, but the thing is, in that world, though, they were in the Champions League, and that's not true anymore. They're now playing their best team, and their best team has Cherky in it. I think that's so you have to be, and obviously you'd have to go back and go, actually, was there a Champions League game before those matches? But my view is Cherky is now first choice.
Okay. So my other question to you on or analysis.
I mean, I actually think Pep rotates less than people think.
It's just he has all these competitions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I just run these numbers by you for Turkey? 10-pointer this week, big bandwagon potential. If you guys hadn't already set your wild cards and knew about O'Reilly and big option. 1-pointer, 5-pointer, 3-pointer, 1-pointer, 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 8-pointer, 3-pointer, 1-pointer, 1-pointer, 4-pointer, 5-pointer. You got a double-digit return in game week 18, almost fucking 15 weeks ago.
What Semenya
there are
been?
assists on headers this week too. 2 assists on headers.
What about Semenya? What's Semenya's game log? Interestingly,
Semenya is way more like absolutely nailed in my team. Like I know he's 2, 7, 8, 4.
I'm just as a comparison to Cherky, just to see how it stacks up. I'm not saying no.
Numbers are way more steady. In the last 4 games, he's got 2 goals. In the last 6 games, he's got 3 goals and an assist. I also like the way he's getting his attacking returns, like a really good cross to Holland and like taking a ton of shots. I mean, he hit the bar a few times. I think Cherky's more like gonna get an assist on a header only. It feels like he does feel less like he's going to get me consistent points, and he does have slightly more minute risk.
Okay, right. So we should wrap this up. So
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think this is
my gosh. Leeds are winning 2-0. Okafor's got another goal. Oh, Calvert-Lewin got an assist on the first goal, apparently.
Okay, so it changed.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, Bogle got an assist. Sorry. They changed that.
You already said that.
Yeah, sorry. It originally was Calvert-Lewin, and then it changed to Bogle. So Okafor's got 2 goals.
You know what? They should put.
I don't know who Okafor is. What is he, a midfielder? Who is
I don't know. They should put Bumo out there. So, how's Bruno doing to make a case for my single game week player over? I guess I don't look. Who are the other? Who are the other teams that double?
No one was picking Okafor because he was flagged as being injured.
Who are the other doubling game week players?
So you've got Burnley, you're not going to play. You've got Brighton, and you don't like. I mean, I think I prefer Dominic Calvert-Lewin over Welbeck.
Okay.
Then you've got and Gross for me is the best midfielder just because he's more nailed on minutes. Hinterwood is maybe more the slightly exciting pick, but I wouldn't trust his minutes.
So it's a Brighton attacker, basically, is what I've got to look at realistically here, or a Leeds attacker.
I mean, you've maxed out on your Chelsea and Man City. You're not going to go for a Chelsea defender for obvious reasons because they can't keep a clean sheet.
I'm maxed out on Bournemouth, Chelsea, and City.
And Burnley look absolutely atrocious, and that's just a bench player. I mean, that's just the bench keeper, just because it just stops you being blocked on something else. I mean, I think ultimately, Kevin, I just said to you, I would go DCL.
I think you got it. It's between DCL, Welbeck, and like one of those Brighton mids, isn't it?
Yeah.
And or I go 8 Nori and just throw whatever fucking keeper in net. Yeah. I go Barden now, whatever. I don't like it, but you know what? Goalies don't really get that many points normally anyway. And he's just sort of he's just sort of blocking Brighton's.
Okay. So, captain, who's your captain going to be then? Because I assume Haaland's going to be, hands down, the captain favourite. There may even be a few triples on there because anyone that's sort of done the flick reverse and decided to... I mean, I don't think there'll be a lot, but there might be a handful of triple captains on Haaland for this week.
How did Haaland and Semenyo do in the reverse fixtures here?
It's hard to tell for Semenyo because he's probably playing for Bournemouth at the time.
They lost 2-3 to Arsenal. Semenyo got a 1-pointer with a 0.11 XGA, and then Burnley got a 10-pointer. And then Haaland got...
I think he was benched against Burnley. Could be wrong.
16-pointer, 2 goals and an assist. I think that's who I triple captained him against when he got this 16-pointer. That is who I triple captained him against. Burnley. And then you triple captain him against Everton for a 13-pointer 2 weeks later.
Okay.
And then Arsenal. 9-pointer he scored. So it was
the Wolves game.
In the reverse, Haaland would have went bananas. So yeah, I think Haaland. I'm just going to keep Haaland, and I'm going to captain Haaland for what?
Yeah, and I think that's important in terms of your considering going double City defence, if you're going to captain Haaland, I mean, who else would you captain? I feel like Palmer's been I mean, the only other player you could consider would be João Pedro, just because he's had some bigger hauls this season. But I just think it's tough. For me, Haaland's got to be captain because he's. I mean, you could go Semenyo, but even Semenyo is as inconsistent as Haaland in some ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just think it's got to be Haaland.
Okay.
Just the Burnley away is too big a game. So if Haaland's your captain, you basically got a 10-man team that you're happy with, and you just need to decide which of the. Basically, you're going to say Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Welbeck, Gross, or Bruno Fernandes is your 11th pick, and then I suggest that whichever of those you don't pick probably becomes your first bench, and then I think you throw a Leeds defender on there, and then maybe a Brighton defender.
I think I gotta go.
Kugula, whatever his name is. Is it Kadua or someone the Brighton
Just
defender?
for my bench, you mean?
Yeah, your bench. Yeah.
I have so much money for bench, dude.
Just
I'm gonna go Mo Salah on my bench.
Why not?
third bench. I the only thing I would say is if like O'Reilly's done for the season or something, and Aït-Nouri is now going to be like nailed, I would consider that punt. I would consider that punt over like Calvert-Lewin and just go. I would consider that punt over Calvert-Lewin and just go 40 2 forwards and go Aït-Nouri. I'd change Donnarumma to Bart or whatever. The Leeds goalie's not nailed, right?
I mean, people think
that's the other. That's I mean, if Darlow, I just feel like if I went Darlow, just the season I'm having, he wouldn't play.
I mean, Darlow's playing tonight. If he keeps clean tonight, maybe he's nailed.
Because they have the best defensive fixtures. They've just got the shittiest CBIT D. That's why I don't have a Leeds D.
I think have a look at the DCF tonight, and maybe that might change your mind because I think the reason why the DC's flipping around with the Leeds team as well is that obviously some of their defense, Leeds do have some injuries, which would worry me to some extent. But if they're going to win, obviously they're only winning 2-0 now. It could clearly turn around. Man United have been good at home. It seems unusual they're losing at home to Leeds.
What about this? What if I went Darlow and Perry as my? I guess if they got one each, I'd be pissed off. But at least if I'd somewhat hedge my bet that, Perry started this game and
you could do that. It's not
anyway.
Horrendous.
I just I'm on Donnarumma. But if it's like Aït-Nouri's definitely going to be playing the next two games. Do you think he'll play versus Arsenal though, or are they going to change it up because it's Arsenal? Play some more defensive, 3 center backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think I don't mind the Donnarumma pick, but I can see there's an attraction of a Leeds defender. I think there is an argument to go 4-4-2.
So then no Calvert-Lewin, instead you go Struijk.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, apparently
Bournemouth away though. I don't anticipate a clean sheet Bournemouth away. So I'm basically saying I think Wolves are shit for sure now, and they're not going to score.
But I mean, to be fair, if they've scored 2 goals tonight, maybe that's enough to go down Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Okay,
buddy.
So I'm conscious we had a couple of other questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you said you had to go or something. I'm good for a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go very shortly.
What time is it? Oh, it's 3:45.
So Jake Day says, how many differential picks do you think are needed on game week 33 free hit to gain on people on the bench boost? I mean, I think
you're not gaining.
I mean, it's possible, right? But I mean, I think the fact that, if O'Reilly's injured, I think that's already an advantage, right? Because if nothing else, we're faffing about with a transfer that we don't need to do. And you say, Kevin, you go Donnarumma. No one else is going Donnarumma,
right?
And then you get Donnarumma, and you get another DC defender. So I think that's already an advantage. And I think people like me gone Welbeck are going, that was a mistake. So I think you can get a better pick than Welbeck. So I just think the extra information and playing to that might be enough rather than having to be too clever with it.
Oh, so you gotta think the folks that are on 0 free transfers that are about to use their 1 free to get to deal with O'Reilly. That's 1 less transfer they get to have a double Palace player later that we're going to have, or Arsenal that we're going to have, or some other player that we're going to have. So I do feel like that alone is an advantage to us of 4 points, call it.
Yeah.
I think Enzo as well.
Yeah, Enzo. I think, because that's the other way of looking at it. From your team, you've got Donnarumma, it's a bit different. Enzo's definitely different to the wildcarders. And then, I mean, if you go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think he was actually quite popular. It was me that went Welbeck over him, which I kind of regretted shortly afterwards. So I mean, I guess the flip to that is I'm slightly unusual in the sense of I've got Bruno Fernandes, Big Gabs, and so I think some people went Bruno Fernandes and like one of those two, but not both. If that makes sense. But I think the reality is you've got to assume you're not going to gain, as you say, Kev. Potentially, if you hit gold with Enzo gets 20-pointer, you're probably not really losing out on the bench boosters. But equally, as you say, we have to see how this plays out over the next 4 or 5 game weeks. So it'll be interesting to sort of, as you say, Kev, track our points against each other to see which route worked out the best. I mean,
there's luck though with
Bumo
benchings and shit like.
And the free hit 34 versus people trying to play the 34 will be interesting because I could see the free hit 34 not working out because we're all going to go Mo Salah and stuff. But that's all next week.
We'll see. I think the Enzo differential, to answer the question, is a pretty big one, and like that alone could be enough if he had a big week for us to help offset the bench boost damage. I mean, you got to think like. One of their bench boost players is Big Gabs away at City. Another one is
Bruno Fernandes. And wait, Chelsea. That's massive, isn't it? What's Bruno Fernandes going to do at Chelsea if he blanks? If he rocks up and gets a 13-pointer, it's like, ooh, that's going to hurt, right?
Totally, of course. And I think that some of the free hitters will go Bruno because, again, I'm like him outscoring Dominic Calvert-Lewin in a double game week isn't that hard to do. He doesn't. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's probably over the 2 games. Like, think about it. He's on how many goals? 10 goals in 24 games. That's less than a goal every 2 games. So, like, realistically, the expectation for Dominic Calvert-Lewin should be like 0.9 goals over this double. So, like, that could mean he gets 1 goal. That could mean he gets 0 goals. That could mean he gets 2 or 3 goals. But, like, it's most likely it's 1 or 0. So like, and that's his total plus his appearance points, right? Like, I mean, these things come in bursts. So you have this, when you remember a guy like him getting like 5 goals over 6 games or something. So you're like, oh, Calvert-Lewin, fuck, remember that for the double game week. And it's like, he goes cold as fuck. I mean, he's on his one right now. He hasn't scored tonight. Didn't score last game. Didn't score the game before. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
But
8 games ago, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored a goal. So if you want to go on more like recent form, he shouldn't score because he fucking sucks.
But he's been injured though. He's been injured and he's on pen.
Playing 90, bro.
And they've got some reasonably good fixtures.
He's been playing 90. So for like 8 weeks now. So I guess he's injured, but like, was he injured those 8 weeks? Come on, playing 90. He just hasn't been in form. And remember last year when I had him, he was shit for like fucking 4 months. Like, dude, this guy has been known to be shit for extended periods of time. This could be one of those times, man. And as much as Wolves at home is supposed to be this great fixture, like it was this week for West Ham, they've also have been decent lately. I actually think the West Ham getting pummeled was a bit more of an anomaly. I don't think Leeds are just going to go boss them per se. Maybe they will, but I think it could go more either way. And Bournemouth away is, I don't think, a good game for Calvert-Lewin at all, actually. I think it's basically you're picking him for just Wolves home and with some 2 more points for Bournemouth. Anything at Bournemouth is just a bonus. I don't know.
So Kev, so just 2 quick ones. So Matty interestingly shared his free hit team. I won't go through it, but he did mention Ivan Nielsen as a pick he had. He didn't have João Pedro, which surprised me. Would you consider Ivan Nielsen? Is he even on your radar?
He's playing 90 and whatever, but he's been getting a couple assists. I don't know. He's just sort of been invisible, man. He's not on penalties, which kind of sucks for that type of player. Like Welbeck and Calvert-Lewin, I feel like, I don't even know if Welbeck is on penalties, but like that's at least what Calvert-Lewin has. JP, why would I not have JP? Like he's been one of the best players in the game this year. Like, I mean, look, everybody's had cold spells, but JP overall for this season has been one of the better picks. Yeah,
agreed.
So I'm not taking that on, and those aren't bad fixtures.
And Graham's got an interesting point. So he's done his transfers, but not press wildcard or free hit because he's considering wildcarding and then free hitting in 34 still. He has said that he's not got a great team in 34, so I think you have to wildcard. But I'm not quite sure when you're going to bench boost. But it's interesting to wildcard this week. I hadn't really contemplated that, but I think you could wildcard this week.
But then you'd be stuck with all those shitty Leeds and Brighton players. That was the whole point of not wildcarding.
But you could put like Henderson, you could put Big Gabs, you could put
you'd be able to park 3 of them.
So you could put 2 Arsenal and 2 Palace on your bench, for example, and then you'd still have 3. You'd have 3 City, you'd have your Chelsea, because Chelsea have got a good fixture in 35, home to Forest. It's not impossible. Sorry? Yeah, it's not impossible.
I didn't wildcard because I didn't like the look of like a bunch of Brighton and Leeds. And I guess I wouldn't have as many. I guess the difference between wildcarding this week versus wildcarding last week is I would also have all these, bench boost Leeds and Brighton players that I don't want, but those would be replaced with the 2 Palace and the 2 Arsenal.
Well, I think the problem with wildcarding this week is I think it'd be hard not to have Bruno because you'd want Bruno back in your team when you get to 35 because I think it'd be, he may well blank tonight, but I do think you'd want him back in the team from 35 to the end of the season because he has been the hottest player in the game.
I also don't want like Enzo Fernandez and Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, your wildcard team would then give you 3 Man City. You'd have Bruno Fernandes, a couple of Chelsea. I don't hate the Chelsea in 35. I think you can start selling them after that. But anyway, I mean, it sounds like his team's not good enough for 34, so I think you have to wildcard this week and work through it. Is what I'd probably do. But I mean, I do think one thing about the way the games are falling, it does give you lots of different options in terms of strategy, which makes it slightly more interesting. I know at the moment there doesn't seem to be a massive spread in terms of outcome. It's just in terms of little picks here and there. There hasn't been an obvious winner yet.
So can I ask you a question? Why would he have just made the transfers already without hitting free hit? Like,
I presume he didn't have enough doublers.
But why? What's he waiting for?
Well, he's considering doing wildcard instead of free hit.
Yeah, but why has he not decided yet? There must be something he's waiting for.
Well, I think he hasn't decided. I think he's looking at his normal team and going, I don't like it enough for 34, so I probably need to wildcard. But I think he prefers to free hit if he could this week.
What would change?
I
feel like you're inviting the risk of fucking up and having like a 30-point hit because you missed the. Like you see that happen sometimes.
As we're talking this through, I mean, I don't know if he's got a bench boost left, which is kind of critical. If you haven't, then for me, I would free hit this week and wildcard next week.
Like the deadline's on Saturday?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, like, are you making this decision Friday, Thursday? Are you waiting for presser news? Because, I mean...
He's waiting for our pod, is what he's doing.
I guess I don't understand why you would wait to hit it.
I can see,
there must be some benefit I'm not thinking of. Otherwise...
Well, I think he was trying to do the price move, but they haven't really happened, have they? So you probably didn't need that. But without thinking it through fully, I do wonder if I'd free hit this week, then next week wild card, have your City on the bench,
No, you'd wild card. Oh, like wild card in 34?
4, yeah. Because he was saying his team. He was saying
Yeah,
his
because you
team
could
isn't
have 3
great in
Palace,
34.
3 Arsenal.
Yeah, 3 Palace.
Bench your. You don't even need to. Yeah, you could. That would actually play well with Donnarumma as well, because you could just have him as your bench keeper, 2 City on the bench and 1. Who else?
Yeah, so you could go 3 Arsenal, you could go Donnarumma. I think you could get a reasonable team next week. You wouldn't have any Chelsea, you wouldn't have any Brighton.
But then
you wouldn't have any
then you have a shitty double game week this week. You're free hitting this week.
Free hit this week.
So next week I'll decide if I want to do that or not.
Yeah,
because the thing with O'Reilly is, even if he comes back, it might, and you know, I'm like, oh, get him right back in. It's like, well, let's see how fit he is.
Yeah.
He might not play a bunch of minutes, so like a double game week in 2 weeks might not even happen.
Without seeing how good this, I would say if you could free hit this week, you've got enough. If you've got enough transfers to get a reasonably good team out in 34, I wouldn't faff too much about trying to get the perfect team in 34 because it's a blank game week, and then ideally you wild card in 35 and play from there.
I don't even know in 34. Like, what am I trying to get here? Like, Man United at Brentford, Liverpool have Palace, West Ham have Everton.
I mean, I would say is that when we get to 34, what we will need to know is, have Liverpool made it through in the Champions League? They're playing tomorrow night. If they get knocked out, they're all in on the league. You know, Palace almost certainly going to get to semi-finals because they're 3-0 up in their first leg, and I think it was away as well. So Palace are going to be in the semi-finals. So they're going to be slightly more up. Liverpool are likely to lose to PSG. They're 2-0 down. They're at home, so they could turn it round. But there was a good chance Liverpool go out the Champions League this week, which means they need to get the top 5 in the league to get Champions League because that's critical. So Liverpool suddenly might become it means like Ekitike might rotate a bit less, albeit Isak's back, isn't he?
Yeah.
So who knows?
I think I would rather wildcard right before I hit 36 bench boost, though, not 2 weeks earlier. And I'm also trying to cater to this 134 free hit, and I've also got like 3 City on my bench or whatever. What if one of my players isn't playing?
I'm just trying to work out for Graham, because without knowing how bad his 34 team is, my instinct is free hit this week, either wild card or try and get through transfers in 34. Ideally, a wild card in 35. Even if you're not bench boost in 36, I just think it's cleaner to wild card in 35 if you can, even if you haven't got bench boost left. But
36
I do wonder,
for Chelsea's not great, and 38 for Chelsea's not great. Like, I know they got Spurs at home in 37, but
which is why wildcard in 34 might not be as mad as it sounds, because you won't need Chelsea, Brighton, or Leeds.
Wildcarding this week though, I don't want 3 Chelsea for sure. I don't even know if you want JP after this week. Like, maybe just because of that Spurs game, and Forest home. Forest are fighting for their lives to stay up. You got to think they're going to be playing hard. Liverpool away, as bad as Liverpool have been, they look good this week at still Anfield, and then Sunderland away to end the year. Like, Sunderland away is not a good fixture at all. Like, you want 3 Chelsea, you're going to have to like get rid of them immediately.
I can see myself selling both my Chelsea in 36 and bringing in like Palace and Arsenal players, but
I don't know if I'll have any Chelsea. My game week 35 wildcard, I don't really see like any Chelsea on it. Maybe JP for the Spurs game, and then I get rid of him for Sunderland away to a last week punt or something. But like, think about my bench. I'm bench boosting in 36, and I have JP on my team. Liverpool away, he's going to be one of my bench boost players. That's not an attractive. Basically, like, I'd almost rather bring him in 37 for someone just for that game. And I also wouldn't mind seeing Spurs under a new manager, because that was as bad as it gets at Spurs. You got to think the Zerbies, what happened with them this week? I'm guessing they lost again.
They lost 1-0. And
so they didn't get pummeled.
And Romero's out for the season.
That might be a good thing. The guy's a loose cannon. But anyway, they didn't get pummeled, did they?
Yeah,
but De Zerbi's known as like free free flowing attacking football. I thought.
But I mean, but yeah, he's got. Well, he needs to sort
Got
something
his
out.
hands full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bumo on yet? What the fuck's going on in that game?
Perhaps we're getting a half time because they've been poor without him. It's half time. They're 2-0 down. It sounds like Leeds could have scored a lot more. So I don't know what is going on. It's bizarre.
Weird, because
And Striker's got five DC already at half time for you, Kev.
Already, that's like just barely gonna make it territory.
Yeah, but you generally get more in the second half, is my experience of these things. You generally get more towards the end of the game. That's just how it plays out.
Should I cheer for Bumo coming on at halftime or cheer for a 3-point sub?
I mean, the bonus is Cuna's got a booking. So for those that pick Cuna on a wild card or trying to, because Cuna was a pick over Bumo. We talked about that last week.
Yeah, if you were going to free hit 33 off of wild card, yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, so who cares?
Okay, right. We should wrap there.
All right.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.